Speaking of big stakes weekends, a very big one coming up down at the fairgrounds, and we're happy to be joined by Brian Spencer from the fairgrounds. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Seth. How you doing?
Very good. Before we before we get started, you had the special Tuesday card, Fat Tuesday down there. I'm just wondering how you made it through the highlight of Mardi Gras.
It was pretty nice. We had a good day at the track. 8 races got us out of there by about 3:30, so everybody kind of got to go out and enjoy a little bit of the end of the festival season after we raced 6 days in a row. But it was a fun day, fun season, and looking forward to this weekend.
Any of the big parades go by the track?
They're on I believe it's Saturday before Mardi Gras. So last Saturday, there's a big one up in the neighborhood. So yeah, it gets a little bit confusing.
Nice. So a fun time. Did you go out and enjoy some of the activities on Tuesday?
Went out with track announcer John Dooley after the races and a couple other people from the track on Tuesday just for a couple drinks to kind of relax after a long week, but didn't go to any parades or anything. Nope.
Well, when you're down there for Mardi Gras, you at least got to go out and, as you say, unwind a little bit and wrap things up. But yeah, that was a big stretch for you with the Monday holiday, Tuesday, Fat Tuesday card there. A little bit of a break and then right back to the racing action. And again, a big weekend coming up. We'll touch on some of those stakes with you in a moment. But first, we'll get a look at some of the action for Thursday. Before we do that, what's your weather look like? Because, boy, it seems like the cold weather has really hit a lot of the country. I talked to Andrew Dembski yesterday from Tampa, and they're much warmer than us up here in upstate New York, but unseasonably cool for the Tampa area. Are you getting hit with some of that cold weather that has really just seems like east of the Mississippi? I know I have a sister in Arkansas, and they had some ice down there the past few days, and of course it affected Oaklawn on Monday. But what's your weather been like, and what is going to be like this afternoon and into the weekend even?
It's been kind of going back and forth, but even when it's cold down here, it's very relatively speaking, it's in the 40s. So it's been nice, sunny out this morning, so everything should be good to go. And I believe there was a little bit of a chance of rain in a couple of the coming days, but nothing really, nothing terrifying in the weather report, at least as we head towards that big card on Saturday.
Sounds good. All right, let's take a look at a couple for this afternoon before we look out on the weekend. Race number 2 at Fairgrounds this afternoon. It's an optional claimer starter allowance. The claiming level 10, the starter allowance level 5. They're going to go 5.5 on the grass. What were your thoughts on race 2?
Yeah, all the respect in here for the rail runner, number 1, Voodoo Spell. He's won 3 races in a row at the meet. He was a conditioned low-level claimer at this time last year, so it's really come a long way for trainer Hugh Robertson. But he's going to be a short price and a little bit interested in the number 5, Hughes the Daddy, getting back to the turf. Goes off the claim here. The Pat Dupe claim comes out of the Brett Calhoun barn. But this guy's played run on the turf a couple of times in his career, and they've been very good. Granted, the last time he was on the grass, he was beaten by Voodoo Spell. That was in July up in Chicago. But I think that his 2-back race was pretty sharp. I think he's going to show a little bit of pace in a race without a ton of other speed. So maybe if he can bust out of the gate pretty cleanly, to move back to the turf, if Hughes the Daddy a slight upset chance.
Right. Yeah, first off the claim, and so we'll look for that one to come back with a win. And move down the card here. Let me just scroll down to race number 9 this afternoon. That one, a state-bred B-level condition claimer. Claiming tags $5,000. Again, these are Louisiana-bred fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. They're going to go 3/4 of a mile. Your thoughts in the ninth?
I'm going to go outside with the number 12, Ellen's Little Storm. Actually, one of my favorite plays of the day, I think, because I think a lot of people are going to look at that most recent race of hers at 62-1 and consider it a bit of a fluke, but I'm not completely sure that it was, as there are some excuses for a couple of her other previous races. She's never been much on an off track. That 3-back start at Delta came in her second start off the long layoff, and she was competitive last season here, or well, I shouldn't say competitive, but she has run races that would be competitive here against much better in the last year and a half. So I think that if she's able to sort of prove that last one wasn't a fluke, especially considering that the winner that day, Tays Live Action, came back to win her follow-up start, she's a much better than $5,000 claiming filly. So I think Ellen's Little Storm going to be a square price. People are going to overlook that most recent race, and I don't think you should.
Yeah, those kind of past performances are puzzles for me, and you just kind of have to go by the seat of your pants and experience sometimes the aberration, whether very good or very bad, of a horse that is in a little bit of a pattern and then all of a sudden breaks out. As I say, whether it's really good or really bad, what do you make of it? And as I say, it just seems like handicapping-wise, I think it's an experience thing. You just kind of get a feel for these kind of situations. And in this case, you're expecting a pair up a couple in here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, on one hand, it's a little bit of a reach. I mean, you've got a jockey who doesn't have a win. You've got a trainer who doesn't have a win. I mean, a lot of things have to go right, but I think that all of that sort of combines to give you that likely double-digit price. And I think that, while I maybe have to talk myself into it a little bit, I really do like sort of the excuses that I've been able to build for a couple of her recent races.
And as you say, you're going to get paid if you're correct. So it's not like you're taking a shot with a horse that's going to go from 62 to 1 down to 5 to 2 or something. That might be a little bit different. This horse is still 10 to 1 on the morning line. That value is probably going to hold up. So you're taking a little bit of a shot, but if you're right, you're going to get paid.
Exactly, and that's what I need, and especially in the last race of the day, there's a lot of, I mean, it's a wide open race. How much do you want the morning line favorite in there anyway?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we will shift our attention now to the stakes weekend. As mentioned, really nice stakes action on Saturday, and we'll kick things right off with the highlight and kind of work our way backwards a little bit. The highlight on Saturday is going to be the Risen Star, and Brian, while we talk, pulling up the video from the Lecomte back on January 17th. The winner there, the number 1 International Star. Running second, the number 4 War Story. Also in here, it looks like from the article I read in the Racing Forum today, J.S. Bach probably going to run down at Fairgrounds after having been entered in the Smarty Jones and shipped up there, but with the cancellation moved down to Fairgrounds. Tisnow RJ, very interesting to me, and in this replay we watched, Tisnow RJ will run third. So we have the first 3 coming out of the Lecomte. Number 1 International Star first, number 4 War Story second, number 2 Tisnow RJ third. And those are the horses that intrigue me. As I say, Tisnow RJ is probably the direction I'm going. You toss in J.S. Bach and Imperia. I think this is a fun event. What are you looking at for the Risen Star?
Yeah, it's a very fun race, a very challenging race. I'm a big fan of Tisnow RJ. I also think that his trip in the Lecomte was much more difficult than it looks like when you look at it on paper, as he ended up, going from a great trip onto the backstretch to getting hounded by a long shot. And, he's a big horse. He was stuck on the rail in that tough spot. I expect him to come forward, but I'm going to take a little bit of a shot against him here. And also against Imperia. I think Imperia is the horse to beat here. He should love it at the Fairgrounds. But the number 3, Bluff, definitely needs to step up his game here in his 4th lifetime start. He's coming off of just a maiden win, but at this point in the year, I think that, that's not an impossible jump. And his first 2 starts, he had a couple of excuses. He was beaten badly by Tisnow RJ in his debut, but had a tough trip that day. Also was left behind late in the, early rather, in the January 1st race. Really put it all together last time out, and I think he's going to get that perfect sort of trip behind a little bit of pace here.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to do with him, but this is a lightly raced horse that obviously probably has some upside potential. Larry Jones, Fox Hill Farms, has the right connections and just seemed to kind of break through last time. So like I say, I wasn't quite sure what to do, but I wouldn't be shocked if he runs well also. All right, the 3-year-old girls also on the card. The Rachel Alexandra Grade 3 event, mile and a 16th, $175,000 on the line. While we talk about this one, we'll look at the Silver Bullet Day from January 17th, the girls version on that date. The number 1, I'm a Chatterbox, will win. Number 5, Forever Unbridled, second. They're back on Saturday. Angela Renee, who threw in what subsequently turned out to be kind of a fluky performance for Todd Pletcher out in California in the Chandelier, subsequently hasn't been quite as impressive, but it is Todd Pletcher, so Angela Renee has to attract some attention. Lovely Maria comes in off a pretty good effort last time. West Coast Belle, who maybe had some trouble that should be considered. Shook Up for Steve Asmussen. You always have to pay attention to his. So again, I think nice field of 10 in here. Should be very competitive. Your thoughts on the Rachel Alexandra?
Yeah, it's a really fun race. I mean, I'm against Angela Renee. I'm against West Coast Belle. I'm a Chatterbox in the Silver Bullet Day. I'm completely against her here today, or on Saturday rather. But the number 1, Shook Up, I think is the right way to go. That talent that she showed in her debut and in her 2-back start when she graduated by 13 lengths. I think she's probably the most talented runner in here. She's got a lot of proving to do, and she's got a lot of mental sort of figuring it out left to do as she's lugged in 2 of her 3 career starts. The rail draw, not necessarily really good given the way that she's raced in a couple of her starts, but I think there's enough speed outside of her where that pace is going to go and move over to the rail, and I think that Robbie's going to be able to get her off the fence and get her to race out in the 2-3 3 path, and if she sort of is able to get in that rhythm and make that move that she made 2 starts back, I think she's going to be very tough here.
Yeah, you go to that number, she fired a couple of starts back, and she certainly fits. And it was the first time against winners, so you can kind of look at that as an educational experience that she'll move forward from. Only 3 starts. It is Steve Asmussen. I have no arguments there as well. Next up, I really want to hear what you think in the Fairgrounds Handicap Grade 3 event. It's on the turf at about 1.1 miles for 4-year-olds and up, because I found this race very, very intriguing and kind of a head scratcher. Going to pull up the River City from November 8th at Churchill Downs. Villandry is going to win this one. Villandry will be the number 4 horse. Villandry subsequently came out of this nice 100 buyer figure in this win we're going to see. Subsequently moved down to the fairgrounds and disappointed in the Colonel Bradley last time out. But I just have a feeling this horse is better than that. So Villandry's interesting to me. But you have Glenard coming over first time in the United States for Graham Motion. You have Pyrite Mountain comes over for Todd Pletcher, although that one hasn't seen the winner's circle in a while. Quadrivium for Graham Motion is cross-entered on the afternoon. And Skyring, who ran well down here last season, could be interesting also, now in the barn of Neil Drysdale. But what were you thinking of in the Fairgrounds Handicap?
I think there are so many ways you can go in
exactly.
here. You've even got high ball, but after all of that being said and done, I'm going to take the horse who's still eligible for a second level allowance, the number 4 Chocolate Ride. Going to take a price swing with him, as his 2 turf starts at the meet have been really, really nice. That last one was really sharp from a wide draw and has that good tactical pace. A lot of these runners, I think, want to come from a little bit further off of it, some of the main threats in this spot, and I think that, a runner like Skyring is probably going to go out for it, and Chocolate Ride may get the perfect trip at a giant price.
All right, and finally, let's just take a quick look at the Mineshaft Handicap Grade 3 event, $125,000, 4-year-olds and up. They're going to go 1 mile and a 16th. And again, nice full field that you can make an argument for a number in here. You have Majestic Harbor, who over the past few, maybe not one you would hang your hat on, but has a decent record at fairgrounds over the past few seasons. Hard Aces, who I read was sold, actually, so that's kind of interesting as well. But that one comes off a nice win last time in a stake down at Fairgrounds for Dubai. Finished second behind Hard Aces that day. Irish You Well, who ran well at Monmouth this summer, but has been off since. That's a long layoff for Wayne Catalano. Red Rifle, plenty of early speed. A nice Fairgrounds record for Nate's Mineshaft. Quadrivium, again, cross-centered in this race as well. And Street Babe, maybe just a little bit interesting. You're taking a flyer there, but with only a couple of starts, no telling what kind of upside potential for that one. What did you think of the Mineshaft?
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on, where Nate's Mineshaft goes. If he's cross-entered in the Duncan Tenor against Delaunay earlier in the card, but if he goes here, that's just even more pace. Mystery Train figures to show some speed. Red Rifle has pace. Street Babe has pace. I think the number 10 Class Leader has a legit claim on the top spot. Closed very nicely last time out, and it actually hit the top and was just run down late, but has done his very best work here at the fairgrounds, and he's going to get a great pace setup with leading rider James Grant in the irons. The one who I think could potentially get overlooked is 3 Majestic Harbor. He's a Grade 1 winner from last year. He started his career in the Midwest at Churchill Downs and fairgrounds, so former fairgrounds players will remember Majestic Harbor, but he got real good in Southern California. And if you check out the company lines in his previous dirt races, it's Opportunity, Bayern, Shared Belief. Any of those horses would be 3 to 5 on the board in this race. So despite his form being a little bit dull right now, I think that he can still get the right setup from off the speed too against this easier group.
But you do make a great point that he does have the back class at fairgrounds, and the last few dirt starts have been against horses that, maybe that it darkens his form a little bit class-wise. Opportunity 3 starts back was in the Breeders' Cup Classic, so that is kind of an interesting angle in there. Also do want to mention coming up on Saturday, Rosie Napravnik Day down at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, we're excited about that from 12:30 to 2 for anybody in town. We're going to have her set up in one of our rooms here, and, people will be able to basically for $10 get a commemorative photograph, and they're going to be able to meet her, get her to personalize and autograph that, and all of the proceeds from that will go to a pair of her favorite charities.
Nice.